Rebound taken by Iguodala. Iguodala to Curry, back to Iguodala, up for the layup. Oh, blocked by James. LeBron James with the rejection.
Cleveland, this is for you.
Come here to cleanse your soul. Yeah, 4-4 and go. That other getting old. From the puck to the glove to the pigskins high. Share all your thoughts, just let it ride. Down the baseline in the bleachers, or you wanna get denied. Yeah, share all of your thoughts, just let it ride. 4-4 and go. Come here to cleanse your soul. Yeah, it's 4-4 and go. Come here to cleanse your soul.
The Browns Super Bowl contenders.
Hey, listen, when we start talking about what wins Super Bowl, we talk about talent. The Browns, they have the talent. They have it.
Welcome to 4-4-0 and goal. Can you hear me today, Tom?
I can hear you today, Sam, but I can't see you right now.
Well, you can't see me because we got a little bit of a transformation taking place here. Today's draft night.
Yeah.
So because it is draft night, we're going to have a theme tonight. And that theme is going to be the Cleveland Browns Superfan Show. Because it's a Cleveland Browns Superfan Show, I want to know, Baker Mayfield versus a hurricane coming off Lake Erie, who's going to win?
Well, Sam, I'm going to tell you, it's got to be Baker. It's got to be Baker. If he don't avoid the hurricane, he's going to go throw right to it where he shouldn't throw it, and he's going to throw it hard to it.
I'm going to do you one better. Baker Mayfield, 66, eats 2 hoagies before the game, calls it the night. Da Browns.
Da Browns. I love it. I love it. That's awesome, dude. Heck yeah. Yes. Yes. Hey.
A lot of these kids today probably are way, way too young to even understand the skit that's being referenced here. But
way too young.
It is in fact NFL draft night. So draft night in Cleveland. How about that? You know what I mean? Of course, draft night in Cleveland, it has to be absolutely awful outside, like raining, cold, miserable, much like it is during the regular season.
Yeah, it's probably pretty bad out there right now. I mean, I know that we've got some viewers of the show, some friends of the show. Jeremiah Keeler and his family are out there. Not coach, but athletic director Steve Cray's out there with his son. A couple of my buddies are out there. Looks like it's a fun time out there. But the Kings of Leon were playing. I thought it was Creed, if you remember, about 30 minutes ago. So,
listen, one time I saw Creed play a show, Baker Mayfield shut the whole thing down, threw a spiral right through Scott Stapp's face. That right there, that's exactly how I knew he was going to be number 1 pick in Cleveland. Lead us to the promised land, bud.
He had arms wide open the whole time.
That's right. Arms wide open. I don't know. That song kind of gets me a little bit teary-eyed. I'm not trying to get there today. It's all about the Browns.
All about the Browns, my friend. And we've had 2 picks come through. So Trevor Lawrence goes number 1 overall, and then Zach Wilson number 2 overall to the Jets.
Which is pretty much what everybody kind of was calling from the gate. And actually, we'll go ahead and run a little ticker down here. I will do my best to try and update those throughout the show, but it's going to be a little bit difficult because I have a 200-character limit on there. So, for those young people that don't understand what's going on here, go ahead and YouTube SNL Superfan the show, and it's Chris Farley and it's a bunch of guys. You'll get it. You'll understand what's going on. Without further ado, I guess let's jump right into some of the stuff today. Let's jump right into some of the stuff tonight. First round picks. Tom, I'm going to start with yours. We'll put yours up on the screen first.
All right.
You and Nick, I believe, have a very similar thought process today.
Yeah.
So at 26, Tom has the Browns picking Jay Owusu Karama. Go ahead, Tom, and explain your pick, my friend.
So Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, I believe he's from Notre Dame, though. I don't think he's from Maryland.
Okay.
Either way, my thought process here is the Browns are going to be playing a 4-2-5 set this season. It's what Joe Woods employs, and they didn't have a lot of depth at linebacker. And linebacker in Andrew Berry's system isn't very coveted, but what is coveted is versatility in that system. And Owusu-Koramoah can really be that versatile linebacker safety hybrid, a 3-down linebacker that can provide coverage or run support. And I feel that he's going to slot in immediately to replace BJ Goodson and complement Mack Wilson or Sione Takitaki very well. And especially adding Grant Delpit back, who's also a versatile safety. I think that it's going to play very well in tandem together.
Well, so here's the thing about Grant Delpit, and all kidding aside, if he works out and he actually lives up to his hype, great. You know what I mean? That's a good thing. But, anytime a rookie comes into the league, gets hurt immediately, and misses their whole first year, I would be lying to you if I tell you I have any faith in them. I just don't. It's just, especially at that position, because corners and defensive backs in this league, this is an offense-oriented league. So you really have to be. This isn't college. You're not going to get away with any of the hand checking. You're getting away with downfield stuff. You're not going to get away with. So hopefully that works. I agree with you, and we'll see when I push my pick out there too. I agree. I agree with you. I think when we get to my pick, I also have a linebacker picked, but my linebacker is not actually that gentleman. But let's go over to, and we'll talk a little bit about Nick's pick, which I believe is very similar, is the exact same to yours. So both you guys are picking. Well, it wasn't Maryland. I don't know where I got Maryland on there. I've been running around with my head was getting cut off this week, so I can see how that would have got mixed up there. Nick is also calling there, but Nick actually, I believe his second pick is where I'm at. I think that this kid out of Tulsa is going to be the go-to. That's my pick, linebacker out of Tulsa. One thing that the Browns, I think that any Browns fan can see or can very, very clearly agree with is that linebacking help is what we need. Yes. I like Mack Wilson. I'll be honest with you. I like him. I don't really think he's a Mike. I don't think he's somebody you build your linebacking core off of. I think he is a great piece. I think he does a wonderful job of, he can be a weak side guy, but you're never going to have Mack Wilson should never be your premier, premier linebacker. And gosh, I mean, I can't think when's the last time we had a premier linebacker in here. I mean, I'll tell you what, they were trying to pass off Kirksey like he was a premier guy for years. And I didn't buy into that either, but Kirksey and Wilson actually remind me a lot of each other.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I can see that. To answer your question, a premier linebacker, I think the last time we had any semblance of a premier linebacker was Andre Davis. Say all you want about Jamie Collins when we got him, but he was
we didn't get Jamie Collins, the premier guy.
We got Jamie Collins, the guy that didn't give a hoot.
Yeah, Jamie Collins is another one of those examples that comes down to where he looks like he might be a system linebacker. We always talk about system quarterbacks and system running backs and stuff. Jamie Collins, almost by definition, is a system linebacker because every time he leaves New England, he's terrible. And then New England, they trade him away for, all of King Midas's gold. He goes there, he stinks up the joint, and then they get him back for pennies on the dollar. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if that wasn't just a long-term contract he had with Kraft because they are, in fact, scumbags.
Oh, absolutely. The only time he's been good outside of New England was when he was in Detroit with Matt Patricia, who consequently was a disciple of Bill Belichick. And he wasn't even great. I mean, he was just very serviceable.
When we signed Jamie Collins, he was supposed to be the guy.
Yeah.
We signed him, I believe didn't we have Kruger at that time too? Or we were coming off the Kruger years?
Yeah, we have Paul Kruger for a minute there too.
Yeah, I mean we
got
have,
rid of him.
we have swung and missed big time on linebackers.
Oh, we have.
You know what I mean? So most of the time I am not, and you'll be able to tell just by Trey Lance goes number 3,
Ooh,
San Francisco. Wow,
that's a reach. That's a reach.
I'm not gonna lie. I thought I told you before the show started. I said you could mark it down. It was good as gold. They were going to take Fields. I thought without a doubt that Justin Fields was going to be a Niner. So that kind of puts it up in the air. And anybody watching the show tonight, don't feel free to comment, get in here. You know what? If you want to get on the show, I might even send you a URL depending on who you are.
Let's do it.
To let you get on the show tonight. It's a draft special, so we're going to do this a little bit different. But just kind of getting back to some bounce talk real quick. Cornerback to me is still somewhere where we have to do some work. Mm-hmm. Delpit's coming back. I don't believe in him. He's going to have to prove me wrong, which isn't hard because you guys will see most of the time. My friends, my very close friends, are the only ones who get to see Sam Torres and the incredible misses that I have during the NFL draft. One of which I thought, I think the last time I really got out there and started talking crazy junk, Trent Richardson, I was pretty sure was going to be the next Jerome Bettis. He's the next Jerome Bettis like now.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was one of my big swings and miss. I'm sure Nickel, he likes to throw them out every time we do a sports argument. So I'm sure I'll hear about that here sooner than later.
I can't wait to hear Nick's analysis, man. He's got some special insight, and he's very educated when it comes to this kind of stuff, man. And I love hearing what he has to say. So,
oh yeah, we tried to get him on here tonight, but there's a little bit of technical difficulty behind there. So, he is one of our draft specialists on this show, and you guys can keep looking forward to some stuff changing throughout the year. We're gonna have some people on the show. We're gonna be taking on some guest commentators as we cover more and more baseball. We're going to have some guys out there talking baseball, too. I've got some stuff in the works. I'm not going to drop any names yet. But look for some more people to be talking to you other than just me. And since we are talking about some high school stuff right now, I believe a congrats is in order to Ashtabula Lakeside's, I believe they call the gentleman Big A. Anthony Donahue, who breaks the high jump record. He is literally raising the bar at Lakeside, breaking the school's high jump record. If I'm not mistaken, I think they were at the beautiful Geneva Spire for their track meet, and with a high jump record today of 6'2". Now, for all of those guys watching right now, and the guys who are going to be watching in the future, these coaches around town, just to make you feel better, that kid is only a junior, which means you get to have a junior or a senior coming back on the defensive line who broke a 6-foot high jump record for them. And I believe he does the sprints. Sprint is on the sprint teams for them as well. And every time I see that kid, he gets bigger and bigger. But you know what? He's a good kid, great parents, doing some really good things over there at Ashtabula Lakeside. Another shout out today. Ashtabula St. John goes undefeated on the season, and they win their conference in tennis. In tennis, absolutely smacking people around in tennis. So which is a great thing for them. Todd Nassif, I believe, is the coach over at St. John. Runs a great program. Is a great tennis player himself. Some really great things going on over at St. John. I know Sheldon is a female playing for them too, and she's kicking butt over there too. Ashtabula Edgewood today. I'm trying to do my best as people sign with these with colleges. I know today was their signing day. As they push out those videos, we are going to be doing our best to push those out, share them to the page. Whether those kids go to your school or not, or they don't go to your kid's school or anything, just understand that these kids have worked their butt off to get there, to get where they're at. It's always a good thing, I believe, to give these kids congratulations. It's colleges for some people far-fetched, and athletics, and that's one of the reasons why we're so kind of hot on them with this, in this show. Athletics opens the door for some of these kids. I'm telling you what, this hat's got to go. I can't do it anymore.
Oh, you're gonna lose the Jerry curl?
I got it. I'm telling you, man. It's too much. It's too much. I don't know how these guys wear them. Oh God, this might have been a mistake though. Look, there's still one underneath of it. How about that?
Oh my God,
You don't see that too often, but guess what? The Pit Vipers are staying, baby.
Pit Vipers.
Pit
Yeah.
Vipers all the way, just because I know it annoys my kid.
Hey, listen, you're 100% right. I mean, like, these kids deserve all the shine that they're getting. And for that young woman today to sign with, I believe it was Teal College, that's a big time softball program, man. Big time. And, I'm really excited to see where the future goes. I mean, Ashtabula County as a whole is fantastic in female softball. There's a huge following out here. Shout out to Edgewood. Shout out to Lakeside. Lakeside's had some success in the past couple years and right now with young women attending college to play softball.
Ashtabula Lakeside, and I apologize right off the top, just so you guys, I do not know what her name is or where she's going right off the top of my head. I have it written down somewhere in the semblance of this. But Ashtabula Lakeside right now has a young lady that is going Division I in softball.
I think it's Ohio U.
She's a Division I. She is a Division I softball player right here from Little Ashtabula County. Some of the people for in the signing day for Ashtabula Edgewood, and you know what? As these things, as the other schools, if you guys start producing this too, you're going to get your shout out on here. Exactly. Get your shout out here too. So another signing today for Ashtabula Edgewood, Lydia Randolph. Going to Trine University in Indiana to compete for their cross-country and track team. So Lydia Randolph from Ashtabula Edgewood getting her letter of intent signed today, along with Heather Farr, and I believe that was it today. So the Edgewood Warriors sending two young ladies to college based on, not based on solely, but definitely helping with their athletics. And as other people sign, we'll keep that up. I know we've already released Danny Bruckman out of Jefferson, going to go to play this fall for Mount Union, which, I mean, boy, Mount Union, that's national championship football down there. That's big-time football down there. And, we gave that kid a nickname during the season, Sonic, and I think they're going to try and make some use of that kid's speed down there. Over in Geneva, the dynamic duo of Big Ben Scabona and Charlie the Man Fields, they're going to go take their talents over to Paynesville and play some ball at Lake Erie. I believe Charlie going as a defensive end, and Ben Scabona going to spend some time at tight end, which 6'5" with arms that can touch the top of a tree. You can't really ask for much more from a tight end there, can you? No. And more and more, as we get Brandon Ford, from what I understand, there might be some Division I rumblings for that gentleman. On the basketball side, I know for a fact that he's had quite a few suitors on the football side too. After 1 year of football, man, how about that? Like, how good do you have to be to go out there play 1 year? You play 1 year and you're already getting guys knocking on your door to come out there. So Brandon Ford, we're going to keep an eye out for him over there. I know PV's got guys that are going to be going all over the place. One of the kids that I'm sure had some offers, Tyler Bean, he's actually joined the military. So, hats off to him. Grand Valley's got some guys. Zupancic was an all-time point lead or 1,000-point scorer for there. So I'm sure there's going to be some people out there getting some time. Conneaut, I'm keeping track, but I haven't heard anything yet. I know they're going to have some guys out there too, because there's some real talent on and off the field out there in Conneaut as well.
I think Tellis Andrews signed. I think he's going to Lake Erie.
Tellis Andrews to Erie? Well, then that makes sense. So. Yeah, I mean, they would be – I'll tell you what, Lake Erie would be remiss if they're letting this talent get out of here. And speaking of Lake Erie is one of the colleges that is going to be in attendance at Ashtabula 440 and Goals first annual Ashtabula Combine and Skills Challenge on Sunday, June 13th at beautiful Ashtabula Lakeside. We are going to be doing a It's going to be a combine-style competition. We're going to have 40 times, high jumps, that sort of thing. That's going to be first half of the day. It's going to be a full-day camp. That's going to be the first half, and then the second half, we're doing individual drills. And guess what? Every school in the county has signed on, and they're in. And that's what makes me happy. So guess what? Every single coach, every head coach from this area is going to be coaching a specific position group in the second half. So you're going to be getting the best of the best out there for this combine. It's just something. Like I said, we've got a hard commitment already from Lake Erie. There's a couple schools in Pennsylvania that everybody are very, very familiar with in this area, Division IIs, that have contacted us as well. We're trying to set up the accommodations we need to get them there. So it's going to be a big event. This is going to be a big event. Now, on another side of that, I'm looking into, depending on what COVID does and restrictions and how those sort of things go, we are going to be looking into if there are crowds allowed in there. And if there are crowds, come on down. Ashtabula Lakeside's a great place to take in a football game. I can promise you that. Again, just kind of keep your eyes peeled for that for right now. That's not anything, set in stone, whether we're allowed to have the crowds and stuff there. But it is, if that's open, we're definitely going to want some crowds in there to get these kids some support.
Absolutely, 100%.
What's going on in this draft, Tom?
All right. So we got number 1 overall pick. You knew it for the past 3 years. He was going to be number 1. Trevor Lawrence goes down to join Urban Meyer down in Jacksonville. Number 2, Zach Wilson from BYU heads over to New York to hopefully not replicate what Sam Darnold did for the Jets. Sam Darnold goes to the Panthers. New York needed a quarterback. They needed a quarterback anyway, but now they got him. 3rd overall, Trey Lance. Here's where it gets interesting. So I put a mock draft last night up on 440andgold.com, and a lot of people were high on this kid, and I thought, he ain't going number 3. I thought Mac Jones, the quarterback from Bama, was going to go number 3 to San Francisco. He fits the mold of what Kyle Shanahan did. And Kyle Shanahan likes to employ some Shanahanigans, but Shanahanigans.
It's the most bad joke I've ever heard in my life.
Thank you. And, I was wrong. Trey Lance, North Dakota State University, the alma mater of Carson Wentz. He hasn't thrown a meaningful pass in a little while, but he goes up to San Francisco. I think this signals that the 49ers are not trading for Aaron Rodgers, which I will get to in a little bit. But I think it means they're going to keep Jimmy G around for like a year, let him get in there, and teach Lance the ropes. Now, number 4, the Atlanta Falcons just picked Kyle Pitts, the tight end from Florida, who I projected to go to the Falcons. Now, Kyle Pitts, probably the best athlete in this draft. He's big. He's basically Julio Jones in George Kittle's body. Like a thicker kid, but just super athletic. He's going to go in. They're shopping Julio Jones, the Falcons. So you're going to have Calvin Ridley.
Well, yeah, they're talking about down in Atlanta, putting all the chips in and restarting, blowing up the organization. Yep. If you get rid of Julio Jones, you got to get rid of Matty Ice too. Start over and let him go hunting for rings. You know what I mean? And they're in the wrong now because there are teams that were looking for quarterbacks heavy. You know what I mean? I guarantee you that Sam Darnold's not in Carolina if Carolina knows that Atlanta's Ryan is an option.
Oh, 100%. 100%. And go all in on the rebuild. But if you're going to get rid of Julio and keep Matty Ice, you got a focal point in the offense right now in Kyle Pitts. Right now, the Bengals are on the clock. I project Jamar Chase, wide receiver from LSU, who won a championship with Burrow at LSU, to go there. Do I think that should happen? No. I think they should go offensive tackle. We're going to find out right now. Who do they got?
Let's see who they're drafting.
Chase. Tom Stradamus. I projected it. Do I agree with the pick? Absolutely not. Joe Burrow got annihilated last year. I don't care that you signed second-tier offensive lineman in Cincinnati. You need a top-tier offensive line set to protect that cat, to make him realize his full potential. And now
Well,
you've got
listen, don't they always say a tiger can't change their stripes?
100%.
Listen, one of the things you hear all the time is Browns is Browns. Browns is Browns. Browns is Browns. Well, guess what? Bengals is Bengals, and that's what they do. All offense, all offense, all offense. Don't give a damn about the line until they've ruined the best out. I mean, they had Carson Palmer, Chad Johnson. Huh?
I was just going to say that.
Corey Dillon. Going back all the way to Corey Dillon. They take big names, big athletes, absolutely zero protection in probably the roughest division in football.
Yeah. Pass rush wise. So what are you going to do? What are you going to do? You're going to let Myles Garrett and Jadeveon Clowney feast on Joe Burrow? Well, thank God. I hope so, because Joe Burrow scares the heck out of me if Joe Burrow has a line. But right now, Joe Burrow doesn't mean anything to me right now because he's got T. Higgins, he's got Tyler Boyd, and he's got Jamar Chase. But guess what? If Joe Burrow can't get a pass off, what's it matter? It doesn't. I'll answer that question. Jamar Chase is a fantastic athlete, man, and I'm excited to see what they do, but that's a joke. The Bengals are a joke. I'll tell you what, this kid's rocking the heck out of that hat, though. I'm excited to see what he does, though. Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow were great together at LSU, man. Prolific, literally historic offense for Ed Ogeron down there. And,
I mean, you got down in LSU, number one, he has, the SEC every year has just absolutely monstrous linemen. So, those quarterbacks, the SEC are the most ill-prepared NFL quarterbacks. That's why if you draft an Alabama quarterback, you're an idiot. And it's not just Alabama either. I love Ohio State. I am a super homer. I don't want anything to do with Justin Fields. Ohio State quarterbacks don't work in the NFL. Alabama quarterbacks don't work in the NFL. Honestly, you got to go to these smaller schools where they're, getting chased from coast to coast before they throw the ball, because that's what the NFL is. Even on a great team, what are you looking at? 3 seconds? You know what I mean? To throw the ball, and that's if you've got an A1 line. Mm-hmm. I mean, did you see I saw a picture of Myles Garrett today with an MMA fighter. He literally looks like a giant.
Literally,
he looks like a giant, and that dude is getting up and running after you, and in some cases, giving you a skull crushing finale.
God bless. God bless. God bless Mason Rudolph's cranium, man. That cat hit the hit of the century.
Yes,
I'll tell you what.
I mean, and now he plays the son on Modern Family, which is even better.
Even better. So this next pick, the Dolphins are slated to pick. In my mock draft, I have a potential trade that I think is going to happen. Offensive line needs to come off the board here soon. Justin Herbert, the Chargers quarterback, has lobbied for Penei Sewell, his former offensive lineman at Oregon, to come over down to L.A. and play with him, give him some protection. The Dolphins have been trading down. They've been madmen this offseason. They're geniuses playing the system this year. They traded their pick down to 12 and then up to 6 with the Eagles. I think the Dolphins keep that going. I think the Chargers come up here and pick Penei Sewell. We'll see how accurate I am, though. And you need an offensive lineman. That's who I thought the Bengals should draft. But we're going to see.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get this thing pulled up right now. I don't know why offensive linemen, don't go as high as they used to. I mean, every year you used to see a tackle or a guard get pulled in that first 2 to 3.
Joe Thomas.
I mean, they would get pulled even when it wasn't Joe Thomas. I mean, you go all the way back to, Robert Gallery.
Oh my God.
Guys getting, they took offensive linemen up at the top of the draft because that's how you build your team. You know what I mean? There's no point in having a 5-star quarterback with a 2-star line.
No. And look at what happened to Baker Mayfield. His second year in the league with the stub toe Freddie Kitchens, had no offensive line. Baker looked atrocious. Baker got an offensive line and looked above average this year. And, with continuity on that line, Baker's, I think, poised to take that next step, and it started with his offensive line. It truly did.
No, I'm still not there on Baker. I will tell you this: I am not a hater anymore. I never was. Honestly, I never was a hater of Baker. I just was not a believer in him.
You didn't buy the hype.
Yeah, I thought he thought he was better than he was. He's starting to show himself to be a very capable quarterback. I still firmly believe his ceiling is upper mid-level quarterback. I don't think he will ever be elite ever.
He's going to be Matt Stafford, Jared Goff.
And you're right, and he's going to be probably the third best quarterback in the division.
Oh, sure.
For most of his career.
I'll co-sign with that. Lamar Jackson and Joey Burrow are going to compete for the top two. I mean, that's just how it's going to be.
Yeah, as much as I give Joe Burrow crap, Joe Burrow is actually a monster.
What do we got? Dolphins are up.
Let's see. Let's see what we got.
Whoa.
I got the Jets.
Wow.
Am I that far behind? What's going on here?
So now we have the Dolphins at 6 pick Jalen Waddle, receiver from Bama. Here's what's interesting about that, Sam. Jalen Waddle played with Devontae Smith, who won the Heisman Trophy as a receiver at Alabama. What does that tell you about Devontae Smith? Jalen Waddle, in my opinion, is the better player. He's going to play much better, and they're going with the Bengals right here. Joey Burrow played with Jamar Chase. Tua played with Jalen Waddle when Tua was at Bama.
I know another team that brought some former teammates together because they were hoping for that chemistry. And all it did was just hurt both players' numbers. And one of those players, given the opportunity, would be your baby daddy. The Browns tried to strike in on that gold with OBJ and Jarvis. I think they thought they were going to get out there and restrike that college type relationship again, where it was, fire and ice. You got to cover one or the other, pick your poison. And we both saw if OBJ was working, Jarvis wasn't. If Jarvis was working, OBJ wasn't.
And hey, I'm going to tell you something, man. There's a stark difference. If Jarvis isn't working, Jarvis isn't chirping. Jarvis just wants to win, and Jarvis wants.
Well, that's the difference too. That's the difference too.
That sucks.
Yeah, that's the difference. And that's getting back to that just really quickly. I would love to see the Browns package maybe 26 and OBJ for a major piece.
It'd be real nice.
If they could package up 26 and OBJ for, a solid linebacker, maybe a veteran corner with some time still on the tank, offensive lineman, because you can't ever have too many.
You can't.
You know what I mean? I'll tell you what I don't want the Browns to add is wide receiver.
No.
I think we have what we need there. I think we're good at running back. I think our tight end situation's okay. There's some upside there. I don't think we need to give up. I think Njoku's time's probably going to come to an end soon.
I would say it's on borrowed time right now.
Yeah. I mean, he showed some glimpses last year. Harrison Bryant's a nice pickup for us. He showed some great. He showed some glimpses there too.
Oh, 100% he did. But David Njoku, I mean, he's coveted by teams. New England loves him. So here's my question. I mean, Bill Belichick always makes something happen. What if we were to take like number 26, David Njoku, and a couple other picks and trade up to 15 and get one of those elite defenders? I mean, if Surtain's still on the board, Patrick Surtain, who I'm very high on, his dad was a great corner in the NFL, and he was a great corner at Bama. I mean, if he's still there at 15 and Belichick kind of decides, hey, I can probably do something in the later in the round and maybe, like because the Patriots aren't win now mode anymore. They're kind of where the Browns were. Let's accumulate draft picks. You know what I mean? Get 26 and Njoku and maybe like a 4th rounder and a 5th and a pick next year. Trade up to 15, and then we can go grab one of those elite defenders. Because like you said, we're a couple pieces away. But the fact of the matter is, we got to pay Baker Mayfield. We'd be stupid to not pay Nick Chubb. I don't care what they say about second running back contract.
I don't either. I think that's all horse crap. Like, and it has been the whole don't pay running backs because you're going to get that out of everybody. You don't, and it shows in the playoffs every year.
100%.
Like, they've been saying that for years, and it never works out. Like teams with the elite running backs, the problem is they're always missing something. So you got to find a way to manage your money. Is what it comes down to. You got to manage your money.
I don't want to trade for Marshawn Lattimore. I don't want to trade for Patrick Chung. These guys demand big money. Marshawn Lattimore is in the final year of his deal. What are we going to do? Trade and have to rent Lattimore for a year and then just let him walk? Well, we just mortgaged the 26th overall pick, man. That could be an impact player for 4 years because the Browns need to play the cap now. They haven't had to play the cap for the past 10 years because they've always just had $50, $60 million. That ain't going to be the case anymore, especially if we don't get rid of OBJ or Jarvis.
I'll tell you another one to talk about is I believe this kid from Virginia Tech, that Caleb Farley. Now, he's the one with the back surgeries, I believe. Yep. So that's big risk, big reward. We're not in that place yet. We're not in that place to take it. But I know a team like New England would take on that guy, and try and work him in. Because if his back holds up, which let's be honest, does a back ever get better? No, it doesn't. And you've had two back surgeries and you haven't even gotten out of college, but the problem is when that dude's on the field, he's elite. He's elite corner.
Elite. I'm going to tell you now, a player like Caleb Farley, I think he's going to slide. And I think a team like Buffalo with the 30th pick is definitely going to look at him because Buffalo's got a solid roster top to bottom, and they can afford to take a risk on a guy like Caleb Farley because they're not many pieces away. You know what I mean? And they need a guy next to Tre'Davious White. Yeah. Caleb Farley would be very good in Buffalo because it's low risk, high reward because Buffalo's got cap space for days. Next offseason, shoot, we can sign Josh Allen and they can sign Josh Allen and then throw big money at a corner. It doesn't matter to Buffalo. Buffalo was smart. Buffalo was very smart.
That's exactly it. It's going to be one of those teams that can take a shot on a guy. And if it works out, I mean, you look like a genius. If not, you're wasting your time. I don't want to be there. I'm afraid he's going to be there, and I'm afraid that's what's going to make it iffy for the Browns this year because they're going to look at a guy who's top 10 talent, and they're at 26, and you're a team that, let's be honest, you really should have beat the Chiefs. Mm-hmm. You should have beat the Chiefs by all intents and purposes. So. They don't feel like they're that many pieces away. Pittsburgh is beginning to crumble into themselves. Baltimore is still Baltimore. I'm still not giving up on. I still think Baltimore is the toughest cookie. I think Lamar Jackson is a Rubik's cube that nobody can figure out in the NFL. And they've got after Chubb. I think Baltimore has the best running back in the division too.
J.K. Dobbins.
Dobbins is a monster, and people forget that. Because Ingram was doing a lot of the legwork, but Dobbins is a freak. He was a freak in Ohio State. I was pissed off that they got him. They didn't need that extra firepower. So when people start putting the hammers on Lamar Jackson, and don't get it twisted, Lamar Jackson can throw the ball.
He can, and we were both wrong about him.
You know what I mean? He's not like elite level passer, gonna, kill everybody that way. But if you think that dude can't, throw it to wide open receivers or throw receivers open with his athleticism, you're wrong. And that's why you're losing to him.
You're 100% wrong. I mean, Lamar Jackson, we both said it's a running back that can throw. Well, it turns out Lamar Jackson can do a little bit more than that. He's a quarterback who can run.
Well, I said from the time that they drafted him, I said if this dude ever learns to throw the ball, the league's in trouble because his accuracy scores at the combine were atrocious. Atrocious.
It was everyone was up here and he
looked like he was throwing a football with no thumbs. I don't even understand how that dude, but you know what I mean? There are plenty of guys that can throw the football. You know, Joe, what the heck's his name? The dude from Baltimore went to Denver, won a Super Bowl with Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco sat on his butt and threw the ball 84 yards and you know, was a pinpoint pass. Brandon Weeden was throwing footballs at clay pigeons. Now, granted, he was 37 years old in the draft, but he was still super accurate. So accuracy, I'm beginning to believe, is just a little – it's overrated. Like, and listen, I'm not a quarterback coach. I didn't play quarterback. I've never been put in a competitive quarterback situation. So, you know, this is purely based on what I've seen, you know, looking at in the past. But I would imagine that – an inaccurate quarterback is something you can fix, but you can't teach a quarterback to be athletic. You can't teach a quarterback to have field vision. You can't teach a quarterback to have the guts to make the play. You know what I mean? You can't teach anybody to have moxie.
No, you can't. And Baker Mayfield's got moxie.
Too much.
Days.
Too much.
Days. But Baker Mayfield also possesses the ability to have different touches on the ball. He knows how to put that long touch, that medium, and that short.
He does. You're right. He's a master at getting touch on the ball. Like the defense gets to touch the ball a lot.
Oh, all right. All right.
I'm still guys. I'm still trying to get I'm still trying to get over my Baker Mayfield hate. I really am. It's tough. He pisses me off. He's a 7 that thinks he's a 10, and that's that's my problem with him. You know what I mean? I think he's a pretty good quarterback. I think he thinks he's elite, which, you know, some would argue. Huh?
He's Draymond Green.
Yeah.
He's pretty good, but old boys out there thinking that he's Dennis Rodman.
Well, yeah, some would argue that particularly at quarterback, that's the one position that if you don't believe you're elite, you shouldn't be playing it. Like if you don't think, honestly, if your quarterback is in front of you, and that's not just here, that's everywhere. That's down to these high school kids. You know, if your quarterback is on the field and he doesn't feel like he's the best quarterback on the field, then you're in trouble. I know a couple around here who every time they're on the field, they feel like they're the best on the field, and that's why they do what they do when they do what they do.
We got one that lives 2 streets over from me. They call him the Peacock. They call him the Peacock.
Hey, you know what I mean? And that's exactly it. That goes a long way. If you don't feel like you don't feel like you're the best at what you're doing, then don't waste anybody's time. But with that, you know, Baker Mayfield, the problem is, and Brett Favre, I think I'm starting to understand, and I think I feel for the Packers fans of the late 90s, you know, because that's what he was. It was huge gains and huge heartbreaks. It was 84-yard passes and come from behind victories sandwiched in between 6 interception games. and you know what I mean? Like stuff that just makes you pull your hair out. But in the end, they won it. They won it all. So, you know, you got to ask yourself if Baker Mayfield can pull off 1 year, would I feel like it's all worth it? Absolutely.
100%.
I don't care if we lost in the second round for the next 50 years. As long as we push one through, that would be enough for me.
All right. So the Panthers just select J.C. Horn. Some of you might remember Joe Horn. He used to play in the NFL. Great receiver. Well, that's his son.
No, Joe Horn was a cell phone.
Joe Horn was the cell phone.
Joe Horn was the cell phone. Yeah, not the pen.
Yeah, Joe Horn was the cell phone. And that's his boy. J.C. Horn is big like Joe Horn. He's lanky like Joe Horn was. But the thing about J.C. Horn is he's grabby. He's a very grabby player. He's always grabbing at the line. He's not, but the thing I noticed with him, because I've watched a lot of game tape on these guys. Sam, you know this, NFL Draft is my Christmas. I just look at these guys all day, like just YouTube videos. And I noticed something about him that he has to change in the NFL. J.C. Horn's a very grabby player, but he's not doing it to hide inadequacies. He's doing it to physically dominate the other receivers. And he does it. He dominates these cats.
Yeah, but you know what? You know just as well as I do that what that turns into in the NFL, particularly depending on what team you're playing too.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
You try and pull that against a Tom Brady-led Tampa team,
it ain't gonna work.
It's 45 yards of penalties.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? You're just never going to get away with it. Now, you can't teach. Another thing you can't teach a player to be is aggressive. You either are or you are not. Mm-hmm. You either want to get in the mix or you run away from the mix.
100%.
100. You know, he's a corner who likes. He's nosy. Mm-hmm. He's nosy, and those guys get smoked downfield. Listen, guys, I want to tell you something real quick about this, the fact that Joe Horn's son got drafted. There comes a time in everybody's life where you get slapped in the face with how old you are.
Oh, yeah.
And I had a poster, the cell phone poster in my room of Joe Horn, and I just watched his son get drafted in the NFL draft. I couldn't be any older if you were pushing me in a wheelchair right now.
I mean, the cool thing about Joe Horn was he had a very good career. He started in Kansas City. He got drafted by the Chiefs in '96. He signs with the Saints in 2000. And I mean, Horn wasn't a very good receiver in Kansas City. I mean, I think he only topped like 500 yards like one time, maybe. But he goes to New Orleans,
and it was a different ball game, baby.
Different ball game. He was in New Orleans 5 years, and I think only 1 year he didn't reach 1,000 yards, but that was only by like 25 yards. And I think he missed a game that year too. Horn was prolific. The thing is,
Joe Horn was one of those receivers that would reach out and grab the ball.
Correct.
Like we talked about his son is grabby on the defensive side, but Joe Horn it's that Jarvis Landry type of receiver. They're gritty. They you know what I mean? They're not trying to, you know, they're not afraid to get in the mix and hit and do stuff like that. He would go out and go over the middle and do stuff that wide receivers just don't do anymore.
Correct.
You know, now, yeah, will he have CTE down the road? Probably, because he got smashed.
Smashed.
You know, I mean, he played in the era of like John Lynch and those guys who actually tried to kill people.
Just annihilated people. But just to finish my point on Joe Horn here, Joe Horn wasn't like Randy Moss. That's no secret. But here's the thing. So Randy Moss had a kid, Thaddeus Moss, who played it for LSU, gets drafted to the Redskins. Oh, well, it's Randy Moss's kid. He's not that great. Joe Horn's son gets drafted in the first round. He's being touted as this great player. I think sometimes you don't need to be the most elite player to have the most elite kids in football. I mean, or any sport really.
It almost works in the opposite.
That's exactly almost the opposite, man.
Like you're almost worried about taking any of these players unless, of course, it's, you know, they're playing a different sport completely. You know what I mean? I.e., you know, Mahomes. Yeah. You know what I mean? You want to take or you get somebody that was mediocre in the league like Del Curry.
Oh my God.
You know what I mean? And then he produces, but don't forget, for every step, there's 13 sets.
Yes.
So,
yes.
You know what I mean? So for every one step, you're going to get a bunch of sets.
Bad. He's not bad.
No. I mean, listen, I'm really excited because, I mean, Sean Kemp shot about 40 of them. So, you know, one of those kids, I mean, the odds are in his favor. He's got to have at least one that's an athlete.
He has to. And if he doesn't, that's on him. That's on him.
Karl Malone had 2, and he didn't even claim one until she got to the league.
Yeah, and her last name isn't even count. Alone, it's like Ford or something.
Well, yeah.
because she's built Ford tough, baby. But, yeah, I mean, shoot, man. Rounding out the top 10 here. I mean, we got 2 more picks in the top 10. You've got number 9 is the who's number 9? I forget. The Broncos, of course. And then you got the Cowboys.
So the Broncos are another one that they could go quarterback too.
They could, but here's the other thing. They might not go quarterback in the draft.
Poor Teddy Bridgewater, man. That dude, I mean, he's like, you know, he needs to be in the land of unwanted toys. I don't know why everybody hates that dude so much. I always thought he was a pretty good quarterback, and nobody's giving him his look. He's gonna find somewhere that's gonna give him his shot, and then I think he's gonna be a good quarterback. But that being said, I said the same thing about Cardale Jones. I still believe that 12 gauge that's another one of my big misses because I thought he was a stud. I thought he was you can't miss.
Well, the old boy flamed out pretty quick. But one thing I wanted to bring up, I'm reading on Twitter and I've been reading on Reddit for the past couple hours. The Broncos have made a very aggressive offer for Aaron Rodgers. Well,
doesn't that make sense? Doesn't that make sense? Is that what the Broncos are now? Like, go be prolific in your career, spend all your prime years at one team, and then come here and we'll just surround you with a bunch of talent. We'll be good for 1 year and we'll suck for 3 or 4 more years.
They're the Cleveland Indians.
Yeah, except the Cleveland Indians, they get rid of you before you're great.
That's true.
Soon as you get good, they're like, "Oh no, that's too much money." But I'm already signed for 3 years. Nope, got to trade you out the door.
You wanted $200 million? Yeah, I can give you $200.
Yeah, best I can do is $200, and I'll give you a gift certificate to Michael Stanley's restaurant. I mean, that's what I got for you.
Yeah. Hey, why don't you go over to the Browns? They're handing out money.
Yeah, I will give them that. The Browns are not afraid to spend the money right now, and I appreciate that. I appreciate teams that are trying to win. And just a real quick kind of a blip, I guess, if you will. So the XFL, which is the last place Cardale Jones played, looking to team up with NFL Canada or the Canadian Football League.
Oh.
Yeah. So Patrick Surtain goes to the Broncos.
Oh boy.
Oh
boy.
Well, you know what, Tom? You might be right. I bet you Aaron Rodgers is on his way to Denver right now.
You think?
Right now.
Why do you say that?
Right now, because they go corner. They're not going to address quarterback here. I don't believe that they believe in Teddy Bridgewater, even though I do. And if Rodgers wants out of Green Bay, Denver is where quarterbacks go to die. So that's what's going to happen here.
Just is what it is. It is what it is. And I have been wrong so much in my mock draft. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, come on. Well, you know, you win some, you lose some. What are you going to do?
Yep. That's what it is. But, you know, as we're closing in on 9:30, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. You do want to keep track. We're going to have some more pop-up coverage coming soon. Tomorrow, I actually did have the Jefferson PV game lined up. It unfortunately got canceled. So this weekend, going to do what I can to try and maybe get some more coverage out there. Baseball coverage coming up. I know next week we're going to be looking into a couple teams. Just keep paying attention to the page. And also, you know, keep making sure everybody knows that this combine is coming up. Make sure you're sharing the post, liking the post. Letting people know about the page. That way we can continue to grow. Do want to put out there, we are at this point looking for some advertisers. So if you are interested in some advertisement on the show, get a hold of me. You can message me directly. You can message the show directly, or you can email us 440andgoal@gmail.com. We'll reach out to you, let you know what the rates are and stuff. You'll get something similar to this. Let me go ahead and run one quick commercial here for our forever coverage in Made in Ohio. We'll be right back.
Right back.
440 and Goal presents Made in Ohio. Made in Ohio makes custom t-shirts, hoodies, banners, jerseys, and so much more. We are proud to have Made in Ohio as the official Player of the Week sponsor. Need new gear? Contact Made in Ohio at 440-964-9057 or go visit them in the beautiful historic Ashtabula Harbor at 1028 Bridge Street. Be sure to check out Made in Ohio on Facebook.
All right, so we're like I said, we're looking for some advertisements, very reasonable rates, and the way those advertisements are going to be, as we do these shows, you're going to be run periodically through the show. Tonight was a little bit different because it's kind of a live stream of the draft, but as we do get back to our regular. It'll be first half, second half, so you'll get a commercial during the first half and then on our way out the door. During the games, you're going to run periodically throughout the entire game. Sometimes you're going to have your business will have a shot at being run 3-4 times during a game. I know during baseball, I'm running a lot of commercials because pitching changes and, lineup changes, and there's always a stop in between. So I think it's a pretty good opportunity for any businesses out here to just get yourself seen. And then not to mention, it does help fund this channel. It helps fund this channel. It helps fund some of the scholarship stuff that we're trying to put together and, some of the stuff we're trying to do for local athletes. So if you or somebody small business owner, is interested in some advertisement, contact us here at 440 and Goal. That way we can have a sit down and figure out how to get you a commercial on here. On top of that, we are going to begin to take advertisements for the Combine.
Yes.
Now, the Combine advertisements are going to be a little bit different. What we will be offering with the Combine is banners. So we are going to have banners placed throughout Lakeside for advertisement. Contact me for rates on the banner. And we do have a limited space, so you are going to want to, kind of get out and jump on this because once I've hit the limit of what I'm allowed to, plaster in there, that's kind of it. But the Combine is going to have hundreds of eyes, if not more, on it. So it's another great opportunity for all local businesses, big and small. Please reach out to us here at 440 and Goal. We're looking to take on maybe form some kind of partnerships and run that into the regular season when we're running football, where you guys got a chance to see how it just kind of flows a little bit.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Super excited. This is a great way to get people's businesses out there, and also just a great way to help sponsor, like you said, Sam, what 440 and Goal is trying to do here, and to get these athletes the recognition that they deserve, and to help get their names out to further their education and athletic careers. It can't just be from our pockets. It's a community effort, and let's try to all be part of something great here. It's a great thing you put together here, Sam, and I'm excited to see where it goes, and it behooves people that want to truly help. This is the opportunity. Let's get out there. Let's do something great for these kids, man.
Yeah. So, if you guys can, just get the word out, looking for advertisements, particularly for the show, but definitely for the Combine. So if you know somebody or somebody who knows somebody, send them our way.
That's right, man. Send them our way.
All right, guys, this is Sam Torres for 440 and Goal. I'm getting out of here.
This is Tom. I'm out of here. I got a draft to watch. Let's do it.
We'll see what we have to talk about after this. All right, guys, have a good night.
Let's do it.
Rebound taken by Iguodala. Iguodala to Curry, back to Iguodala, up for the layup. Oh, blocked by James. LeBron James with the rejection.
Cleveland! This is for you!
Come here to cleanse your soul. Yeah, 440 and Goal. That other getting old. From the puck to the glove to the pigskins high. Share all of your thoughts, just let it ride. Down the baseline in the bleachers, or you wanna get denied. Yeah, share all of your thoughts, just let it ride. 440 and Goal. Come here to cleanse your soul. Yeah, it's 440 and Goal. Come here to cleanse your soul.
The Browns Super Bowl contenders.
Hey, listen, when we start talking about what wins Super Bowl. So Super Bowls, we talk about talent. The Browns, they have the talent. They have it.